Hey, fellow soldiers, let's sharpen our swords together as we dive deep in the scriptures. Today we're going to look at Genesis chapter 37 and chapter 39. We are going to be looking today at the story of Joseph. There's a particular woman in Joseph's life who is using lies to destroy his reputation. But before we get into this encounter between Joseph and this woman, I'm going to kind of set up the background of where we are with Joseph and who he is and where we are with his life. Joseph is a Hebrew, and he is actually a slave at this point in his life. He has not always been a slave. He used to be a free man. And how he got into slavery was because of his jealous brother's actions towards him. He had 10 older brothers, and they had such deep hatred for Joseph that they were going to kill him. And one of his brothers stepped up and persuaded the other brothers to not kill him, but to sell him to the highest bidder. So that's where Joseph is in his life. You know, he's in an environment in which he doesn't want to be there. He is, trying to just make the best of his life, trying to keep one foot in front of the other. And we see that he comes across this lady who's going to make his life even harder, who's going to make his valley even deeper and even longer. And he is a slave. His master is Potiphar. Potiphar is an Egyptian, and he's actually an officer of the Pharaoh. He is captain of the guard. So Pharaoh is what they called a king, an Egyptian king during that time. So Joseph is under Potiphar's leadership. He is his master. And Joseph has really found favor in Potiphar's eyes. Potiphar is really impressed with Joseph. Joseph has shown this trustworthiness, and he has put Joseph in the over control of all of his belongings, everything, his what he owns. And he's kind of like when you look at the slaves, he's kind of like one of those top slaves. He's in the top hierarchy. And so Potiphar's wife, we're not given her name. We're just given that she's Potiphar's wife. And she is very attracted to him. She is the type of woman that is very selfish. She's used to getting her way, and she is not going to stop until she gets her way, no matter who it costs. And that's what she's going to do. So she comes across Joseph, and she actually, the first time that she approaches Joseph, she wants to have sex with him. In chapter 39, verse 7, she says to him, "Lie with me." This is her first encounter with him. This is such boldness. When I read this and her being so bold to him, it really showed me that this is what she's done many, many times before, and she's gotten her way. And here she's using the same tactic because it's always given her the results that she wanted. But you know what? It fails. When she comes on to him, there's several verses in which he is explaining to her that he has the utmost respect for her husband, his master, Potiphar, and that Potiphar has entrusted me with everything, and he values that trust, and he is not going to do anything to breach that trust. So does it end there? No. She is still wanting to get her way. She is still wanting to have him. And the Bible says that she keeps persisting him day by day. I can only imagine she's really ramping it up. She's looking very seductress. She's seducing him in so many different ways in which she can get the results that she wants because she's used to having her way. She's not going to stop until she gets it. And you know what? That fails. So she goes on to her third plan. She's actually going to set up an environment in which he cannot say no. So this is what she does. They have servants that just tend to the inside of the house, and they have servants that tend to the outside of the house. So the servants that tend to the inside of the house, she had them, take some time off. She had them on another errand. They were all out of the house. And she was going to set it up to where it was just her and Joseph in the house. So this was probably a time in which she knew that Joseph was going to come in. And this was the same time of day he came in the house. And he came in and he noticed, he wasn't seeing, such and such and such and such and such and such in the house doing their work that they normally do in the house. And, he's probably getting suspicious. And she comes at him. And this is the first time that she puts her hands on him. She is trying to force him to have sex with her again. But she's doing it with her hands now. And his response is, I'm going to get out of there. I am going to get out of there. And he gets out of there the quickest way he knows how. He takes off his coat to get out of there. She's really pursuing him, and he's getting out of there. And now she's got his coat. What does she do with his coat? What's her plan now? Does she stop? No. She is unrelentless. She is going to keep pursuing him. She's thinking, how dare you turn me down? You are a slave. How dare you? She's probably never been turned down before in her life. And here she's got this slave, this Hebrew slave, that's turning her down. How dare you? Well, she comes up with this lie. She's got to make her lie believable as possible. And she has this false evidence now in her hands, this coat. Joseph's coat. And she's so furious at him, she is wanting revenge. And so she creates this lie. She is smooth with her tongue. She's got this false evidence in her hands. And she is going to make the innocent look guilty and the guilty look innocent. She tells all the servants about this. She tells her husband about this. And you know what? He's thrown into prison. Joseph was a slave, and now he's in prison. We see false evidence in today's time. We see how the innocent are look guilty and the guilty look innocent. We see this in social media all the time. The false evidence is not a coat, it's a video. The person that posts the video is so mad because they didn't get the result they wanted, and they're out for revenge. They're going to record the video that shows them look so innocent and the other person looks so guilty. Well, they post this video and everybody can see it. And before you know it, the numbers go up. You've got these astronomical number of likes, astronomical number of comments, people joining your bandwagon. This person has devised this lie in which other people are accepting. This lie is so convincing. How could you not believe this? And so my challenge to you is, before you see a video, think to yourself, why has this person even created this video? And secondly, why is this person even showing this video for everybody to see? Why hasn't this person gone to the other person in private to try to work this problem out? Spiritual wisdom and discernment is probably more important this day and time than it's ever been. We have never lived in a time as this in which information can be passed so quickly. When we're presented with a situation, we need to be looking at, is this a lie? Is this the truth? Before we join somebody's bandwagon of promoting their cause, their false cause. The story of Joseph doesn't end with him being in prison. There was a time in which Potiphar's wife looked at Joseph. He was not a slave anymore the last time that she saw him. He was second to Pharaoh. Pharaoh is the term that's used for the king. Pharaoh was like the top king, the Egyptian king. And you remember I mentioned Potiphar, he was an officer of Pharaoh, he was captain of the guard. Well, Joseph was actually way higher than Potiphar. So I would have loved to have been there to see Potiphar's wife's eyes and her reaction when she first saw Joseph. Someone she was trying to bring down, someone that she was trying to ruin his reputation with her lies, that she got to see that her lies did not work. They might have worked temporarily, but they did not work permanently. There was a time in which she saw him, and he was not dressed like a slave. He had on the finest of robes. He was standing next to his beautiful wife and their two handsome sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. Not only that, his reputation was intact. He was placed in a position of power. So many people were respecting him and his authority. I love this story of Joseph. Just a man who was trying to keep one foot in front of the other. And Potiphar's wife was trying to keep his valley deeper and longer. But there was a time in which he came out of his valley. That is my spiritual food for you to munch on the rest of the week. Until next time.